Hello and welcome back to the Most Dangerous Podcast. I'm James. Hello, Fraser. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, James. Yeah, I'm not too bad. Yourself?
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm all
Yeah.
right. Don't know what to say really. Not done anything.
You're usually tired, but
Yeah. Well, of course, I'm always tired. Looking forward to the bank holiday. We've got the bank holiday coming up, haven't we?
yes, yeah. Um,
I suppose. Do you get bank holidays?
I do, but I've got like 5 kids. I don't like a bank holiday. I like when they're all in school,
And you're
and
working. Like
yeah,
you
like
have to see them.
to me, that is one more day that I'm gonna have to pay to take them somewhere.
Nah, I don't have to take them anywhere. They've got
Yeah,
Nintendos, haven't they? Just put them on them.
true. We've got zoo passes, Chester Zoo. We get in there for free.
Again, like Dad.
Yeah.
Third time this week.
I know. But yes, it's a good zoo. So I think we've promoted this zoo too much on this podcast.
It's a good zoo, though. It deserves promoting.
Definitely.
Yeah, so it's bank holiday. I've got no plans, which is always good for a
Hmm.
bank holiday. The weather's supposed to be shit, apparently.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So won't be going out, which is double bonus.
Yeah.
Don't have to see people. Don't have to interact with anybody. Sounds like heaven to me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Apart from that, not really been doing much. I told you last week that I've quit my job.
Yeah.
So I've got 12 weeks to go before I finish,
Hmm.
and I've downed tools already.
Yeah.
So
Fox have stopped being given.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said before, like I kind of rocked in at 10 o'clock today. Supposed to
Hmm.
start at 9. Stayed there for a bit. I checked my emails before I left because I like to see if I've done anything.
Yeah.
Sent no emails, and then left at 4, an hour before I'm supposed to finish.
Some wee guy will get you a job and they'll be like, James promised us this and James promised us that. And
Yeah, well, that's what I started doing. I've like been
yeah.
promising the earth to like clients and stuff, saying, "Oh, in about 12 weeks' time,
Yeah. Give us a call.
all this stuff's going to happen. It's going to be dead good." Parent, like thinking to myself,
Oh.
so yeah. I mean, I think you can still be sacked after you've handed in your notice, though. So
I think so.
I think you need to be a little bit careful. But
But how would that work with your new job? Because if they've already offered you the job and then you got sacked from your old job, you could say to them, I got sacked so I can start straight away. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I wouldn't tell them. I'd have like 3 months off.
Yeah, true.
I'd just say, "Oh no, well, no, I probably wouldn't be able to afford that, to be honest."
Yeah.
Don't know. I think like if they sacked me, I'd like sue them for unfair dismissal. I reckon
Mm-hmm.
because it kind of looks like they're just sacking me because
Because you're
like
leaving.
because I'm leaving. 'Cause, I've not had any warnings. I've not been in any trouble. If they just out of the blue just said, "Oh well, actually, we think you should just leave now," I'd kind of go, "Well, oh really?" I think what I'm actually looking for are the ultimate words: gardening leave.
Gardening leave. Have you got a garden?
I've got like a communal garden. I mean, I probably wouldn't do the garden whilst I was on gardening leave. What I'd
Yeah,
probably do is sit on my fat ass and eat Doritos. But
definitely.
that's the dream. So watch
Mhm.
this space. Maybe.
So, a wee quick story. You know how we've talked about my blended family full of kids, and basically my first 2 children were Madison, who's 15 now, daughter.
Hmm. Yeah.
So my first few years with her were watching girl stuff on the telly, My Little Pony, the Tinkerbell movies. Used to go to the cinema. Oh, let's go and see the new Tinkerbell film. All that sort of stuff, right?
Was that you? Was that you or her?
Yeah, that was her. The Tinkerbell films they were bearable. They were all right. But so then I had Murray, my wonderful, amazing little autistic boy that wanted to not watch cartoons. He wanted to watch videos of sharks and shapes. So we'd sit and watch a video: basking shark, tiger shark, whale shark, hammerhead shark, or it
Oh my
was
god.
like shapes: square, triangle, rectangle, dodecahedron, all these different shapes on
Yeah,
repeat
right.
all the time.
Yeah.
So then I met my wonderful wife, Laura. 2 girls, okay, Erin and Mara. back to fucking My Little Pony, girly stuff, shite, just Smurfs and all this. I want to watch Transformers, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, so finally Teddy, my little boy. Okay, and I was sitting with him the other day. Teddy, what do you want to watch on the telly? Do you want to watch? We've got Transformers. Oh, I could let you watch Thundercats. That's really good. Going through all these great shows. What does he want to watch? My Little Pony.
That's the girl influence though.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, are you sure, Ted? Are you sure you don't want to watch? Do you know watch Spider Man? No, I want to watch.
Oh, yeah, but he's only very young
Trolls,
though.
and he is. He's three. He's three.
Trolls is all right. I can deal
Trolls is
with
not
that.
too bad.
He'll grow. He's only like what 2 or 3 or whatever, so he'll like kind of grow out of that. I reckon.
Yeah.
Before you know it, he'll be into makeup and girls' nights out and things like that. So
Definitely. See, whatever floats his boat, I'm fine with that. I just, I just wanted to watch. I want a kid that I can sit and say, watch Thundercats. It was brilliant, you know?
yeah, but that's the thing though, because that never happens. Because I kind of sort of did that with mine,
Yeah.
and I've got 2 girls, and like some of it is kind of like unisex stuff where you can kind of like girls like Spider-Man. I reckon that's kind of like girls kind of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that as well. And like I tried to do that with mine when they were young. I was like, oh, watch this, it's good.
Hmm.
And then you watch it with them, and then you actually realize yourself it's a bit shit. You go, oh, yeah, like you're almost embarrassed for yourself for
Yeah.
introducing them to it because you kind of going, well, it was good like back in the early 90s.
Hmm.
So yeah, so maybe you dodged a bullet.
Well, I read somewhere, the retro gaming's a big thing. We got into it for a while, didn't we? And people
Yeah,
are, oh, look, I can get all the Super Nintendo games on one little USB stick. I'm going to sit and play them all night. And then you play them and you go, this is shit. This is really shit.
yeah, the novelty wears off very quickly.
Yeah. It's not about how good the game was when you were young. It was about how the game made you feel when you were young.
Yeah, it's the nostalgia thing. Yeah, so you're absolutely right. Like I built a Raspberry Pi and
Yeah.
put like an emulator thing on it, and it's still got it. It's pretty good.
Hmm.
I've not used it for years because you're absolutely right. It's the nostalgia thing. It's like I remember when I was like 7 playing Dizzy or
Uh,
something like that, Dizzy on the Spectrum
yeah. Yeah.
and stuff like that. It's like, but those games were absolutely trash. And I don't think I ever finished a single game when I was that age.
No,
And
no.
you can go onto YouTube and you can watch like replays of like these Commodore 64 games and
Hmm.
like the NES games, and they're about 4 hours long.
Yeah, they only had a
You know,
few levels, didn't
yeah,
they?
and there was like no save. You couldn't save it or anything. You just had to
Hmm.
start it and then hope that your mum didn't kick you out of the house within the 4 hours to try and complete it.
Yeah.
I think Super Mario 3 had a save. I think that was like one of the first ones.
It was Mario World. It was the Super Nintendo one. I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
that.
So you could actually save games.
Yeah.
But like these days, like I'm playing a game at the moment, and
Hmm.
it's estimated that it's 120 hours long.
Dear God.
Yeah. And Football Manager, I checked my stats. I'm still playing that, and I checked my stats the other
That's
day.
dangerous.
I've played it for like 5 days or something. Like it's just ridiculous. Uh, so yeah, it's definitely the nostalgia thing. I mean, it is worth doing. I do like the old games.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think I do, but probably don't.
I think what it does is it shows kids how shit we had it in our days. Look how
Yeah,
lucky you are. This was Call of Duty when I was young, you know?
yeah. It's like the old like Back to the Future 2. He's like goes into the cafe, and the kids in there are like, "What you have to use your hands?"
Yeah. That's like 2015, that.
Yeah. It's long gone.
It's mad.
Right then, Fraser. Well, that's a lovely little intro. As per usual, we swap over week by week, and this week it's my tale, and this week it's your dangerous news.
Thanks, James. Yeah, I've got a couple of. I've got two good pieces of dangerous news. Well, I've got three pieces, but I've got two that are unrelated, and one that's actually really heavily related to a podcast we did recently,
Oh, good.
which is interesting. It's come up in the news. But I'm going to start with the first one from a website called AP News. We did say we were going to call them.
Yeah, I think it's for the
Yeah.
best. Otherwise, we might get sued.
I know.
I mean, I know we're like sort of skyrocketing through the charts at the moment.
We are
Uh,
35 in Sweden. Was it?
35 in Sweden in a very specific genre.
Yeah.
So you never know. We don't want to get sued. I haven't got enough to get sued. So yeah, we'll reference people or sites or news sites and things like that.
That's it. Well, we're number 35 in the podcasts by two 41-year-old males called with dangerous in the title or
Yeah,
something.
there's only like three people, 3 podcasts in the list, and we managed to make it to 35.
We were ahead. You did note we were ahead of Alan Carr. So
Oh yeah.
yeah. Right. First story. AP News. The town of Fujikawa-Juchiko in Japan.
Well done.
I've had a few goes at that. Reached its breaking point with tourists, so they decided to take drastic measures. They've built a giant black screen to block the view of Mount Fuji.
Bastards.
One of Japan's most iconic sites. Why? Blame it on the misbehaving tourists. From littering to traffic violations, they cause chaos in what was once a serene town. So basically, all these tourists turn up to this little town to take nice pictures of Mount Fuji, so they've just built a big black screen in
Yeah,
front
you
of it.
can't. You're not having a look at that.
It's gone.
Surely
Gone,
they
mate.
can go like round the screen though, can't they?
Probably, yeah.
It doesn't
I haven't
make
actually.
sense.
There were no photographs on this story. I'm going to
Yeah.
have to research this more and see how big. Who was it? Was it the Simpsons where Mr. Burns blocks the sun?
Yeah.
On the big screen.
Like, Who Shot Mr. Burns, wasn't it? It was like a 2-parter.
Yes. So yes, they built this big giant screen, and
It's like, is it just is there anything on it? Or is it just there's no photos, is there? It's just a black screen.
A black screen. It says it's actually like a mesh, obviously, so that wind and air can get through it. So you can probably just about see through it. It just obscures it.
Imagine if it had like a picture of Mount Fuji on it. It's like, hey governor, we've got your screen. Like, no.
There's a famous picture that goes around Facebook of some tourists in Edinburgh taking a family photo in front of a picture of Edinburgh Castle on the side of a shop, but behind them's Edinburgh Castle.
Oh wow, yeah, it'd be a similar sort of thing. Yeah,
Aye.
I think that's just nasty, isn't it?
It
Although,
is.
like tourists are a bit of a pain, aren't they?
They are, but what I mean, a lot of people in the town are happy about it because it's got rid of the tourists, but there's a lot of people upset in the town, like the cafe owners and stuff, that have now lost a load of business because
of course,
thriving
like,
tourists.
Because you don't really get them. Well, you do get tourists in Manchester, obviously, but it's so big you don't really notice them. And when they're mixed in with sort of students, because you get a lot of foreign students and things like that, you can't really tell that there's tourists here. But somewhere like Chester, it's like very noticeable because in the summer the population almost doubles in size and you can barely move down the high street. So I kind of get it, but tourists are good for business and stuff, and I like other cultures kind of proud to sort of to let them see what we have to offer and stuff.
Absolutely. I lived in Nice. We've talked about that before, but my parents had a little place in a place called Villefranche-sur-Mer, which is just next to Nice. Yeah. Tiny little apartment, little French town, and basically it was one of the deepest bays in the Mediterranean, so a lot of the cruise ships would stop there when they wanted to visit Nice and the surrounding areas. And there were shops there that only opened when the cruise ships were in. So you could have 2 or 3 days, the shop shut, cruise ship comes in, shop opens, all the tourists come in and buy their stuff. And that whole little village just thrived off these ships bringing tourists all the time. Made a fortune out of them.
That's it.
It's not always a bad
thing. Cash cows coming in.
Absolutely. So I'm going to leave that story there. There's a lot of rubbish to carry on, but I just wanted to tell you about this Japanese town that built a big screen to block Mount Fuji.
Yeah, I'd like to know a bit more about that. Like, how big is it?
There isn't stuff like that in the story. That's what I'm saying. There's no pictures or anything.
Yeah, I'll have to have a look.
Yeah. Apparently, tourists were confused by the sudden obstruction. So it sounds like they put up quite quickly overnight, maybe.
Well, 500,000 tourists just in the middle of in the morning, just hear beep. Beep, beep.
Imagine you've checked into your hotel. Will we take a picture? No, we'll get one in the morning when the sun comes up. You go out and it's gone. Fuck's it gone? So anyway,
Anyway,
second story was from Sky News. Always a good source when you go to, what is it, Weird and Odd News or something. Offbeat they call it nowadays.
that's it. That's the number one. Don't. You can say the sources, but don't give away the actual. You know what I mean?
People see the stories before we read them.
That's it. I got that from there. He's just completely just reading it out.
I've rewritten all these actually.
Oh, have you? All right.
Well, ChatGPT has. Okay, in a distressing turn of events, Wally, the renowned emotional support alligator, has gone missing while accompanying his owner, Joy Henry, on a trip.
Hang on. Start that again. Who? Wally?
In a distressing turn of events, Wally, the renowned emotional support alligator.
That's what I was looking at. The emotional support alligator.
Yeah, an emotional support alligator. Do you ever see those people that they suffer from anxiety, or like a lot of people with autism have them? They have an emotional support dog that's a little companion, and they stroke it and it helps with their anxiety and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, this lad had an alligator.
That'd give you anxiety.
I know.
Shut you in a room with an alligator.
Apparently.
It's your support alligator. Like, fuck.
What's that method where someone's afraid of something, so you face your fears,
Yeah, but
take your anxieties to the max.
This doesn't sound like it's his fear, though. He's just like, or whoever's fear it is. It's just an alligator.
It is. There's a photograph of him lying in a deck chair with his alligator sort of like on top of him while he's cuddling it.
There's blood everywhere.
Yeah. Apparently, suspected pranksters are believed to have targeted the 1.7 meter long reptile. I'm 1.72 meters. That's the same as my height.
Right, so it's not like a small thing then.
No, it's big alligator.
A proper one.
Yeah. Apparently, they snatched him from an outdoor enclosure adjacent to his holiday home. This is in Brunswick, Georgia, in America.
What was the prank?
The prank was stealing it.
It's not a prank, is it?
That's just theft.
It's just
apparently, he's been what's his name? Joy, Joie. How would you say that? Joy.
Joie.
Yeah.
Joy.
The fella's been visibly distraught, and he says that Wally's disappearance left a significant void. So
I'm struggling to digest this. There's so many moving parts.
I know. So he's not got him back. They're still looking for him.
Still looking for this support alligator.
Yeah. Imagine the alligators walking about asking people if they need any help. Or...
Yeah, it's just an absolutely chilled alligator. Hey guys, everything all right?
I read where he got the alligator, because I thought, how does someone get an emotional support alligator? And apparently it was someone he knew as a prank gave him a tiny little alligator.
There's lots of pranks surrounded by Wally.
Like, his mate sort of chucked this little baby alligator and said, here you go, have this. You can have a pet alligator. Yeah, but that doesn't
make him a support alligator, though, does it? Sure, like you were saying, support dogs and stuff. They come from they're specifically trained, aren't they?
They are. Do you know
this just sounds like a guy who's got an alligator that he really likes and it's been stolen?
Yeah.
That's the story.
Obviously, Sky News were struggling for stories. But yeah, apparently he says that his mate gave him this alligator for a laugh, but he's had the last laugh because he's been his companion for the last 10 years. But
yeah, okay. I do notice that these weird news stories, they're very animal heavy, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
The ones that I always come across just involve animals. Well, good luck to him. Hope he finds Wally. And Wally doesn't bite his face off when he does.
I know. So, last story. This is the one that to me is very current with our podcasts, and it's from the Daily Star.
I gotta confess, I do quite like the Daily Star. I don't like it, but I just like the way it's written. It's like busty babe, like Casey Price and stuff like that. I just like,
It's definitely aimed at a certain person, isn't it?
Yeah. I love the language they use. It's great.
Do you remember the Daily Sport? It used to be like they found Robin Hood's skeleton and he was clutching a pair of Maid Marian's knickers and stuff like that.
I think that's still going,
Is it? Catch the bastard who shat down my chimney.
Yeah.
So here we go. In an unexpected turn of events, the moon has become the latest battleground for potential conflict between the United States and China.
Hey.
So sparking concerns of a very nasty Star Wars-like scenario in space. The chaos ensued after China's groundbreaking launch of a lunar probe to the moon's dark side, setting the stage for a possible showdown over extra-terrestrial territory.
Right. I think it's happened here.
What?
I think that the Daily Star has looked at the Swedish podcast charts, listened to your podcast, and gone, let's just make up a story about this.
Yeah. China are like the new Russia, aren't they? They're the ones that kind of America seem to be at odds with a little bit. Russia are busy doing their own thing just now. So America, there's always been a little bit of tension with China recently.
Yeah, they feel threatened, don't they? I think.
Yeah. So basically, China's really sort of ramped up its efforts to get to the moon and start exploring the moon, and America aren't very happy about that.
It's our moon.
Yeah, we put our flag in it first.
Are they going to blow it up again, or try and blow it up again?
They might do. They'll wait until China lands on it and then they'll blow it up.
This like moon exploration stuff, space exploration.
Yeah,
I'm getting a bit frustrated with it all, to be honest. I'm a bit, because I think it's a great idea. Let's go and explore the stars and let's go and have a look out there instead of staying on here and killing each other. Why don't we go up there and have a look, see what's going on? But it just seems to take forever.
Yeah.
Like they've been saying for ages, like we're going to put more people on the moon, and then it's like, oh yeah, well in like 2028, like we can do it now.
I think the thing is, we just haven't got the technology. I mean,
of course we have. Of course we've got the technology.
We've got the technology to go to the moon, but the moon's just a rock. So the next one's Mars. But
yeah, well, they should be up there, like building stuff on the moon, so you can use it as a launch pad to get to Mars. What's taking them so long? They're like throwing billions and billions of pounds into like wars and stuff. Throw it into like space exploration. That's the new frontier.
Yeah.
That's my opinion anyway. I'm going to be ranty this week.
So basically, I mean, the story goes to say that the Americans are, afraid that China's got a lot of technology and a lot of wealth these days because everything's made there. So China has actually now got the capabilities and the power to really start establishing, like you said, they can actually start building on the moon and so and so. And
get it done.
What America wanted to do, but took their eye off the ball, didn't they?
Yeah, just get it done. Just all do it together. Let's be mates. Get it up there.
Well, yeah. I mean that's the sensible thing, isn't it? Because I'm sure for a while, didn't America and Russia built the space station together, didn't they?
Yeah, it was like a joint venture for a bit. I'm sure there was Russian cosmonauts they're called, aren't they? You mentioned the other week. And American, there was a British guy on there for a bit as well, wasn't there?
Yeah.
So yes, they can all work together up there. Let's get it done. Let's get moving. Let's go and explore the stars.
Definitely. It's better to have one big space station than us all having our own.
Yeah.
But it'll never happen because that's just the human race, isn't it?
No, don't be pessimistic. It's funny you should mention space, actually, because it's quite relevant to what I'm talking about today.
Excellent. Well, that's my dangerous news anyway. I'm not going to bore you with going into those stories too much. I thought they were interesting, though.
No, very good. Thank you very much. And that was this week's dangerous news. Still no one saying that's annoying, no?
No. Okay, James, so that was my dangerous news this week. So I believe you've got a good story for us.
Yes, it's my week this week. So it was a bit heavy last time, if I'm honest. I'm still it took me a few days to get over your story.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to bring it down a bit, I think. Just a bit more chilled. I mean, it's still pretty terrifying, to be honest. But there's no torture or amputation of limbs or anything like that. Well, no, there isn't.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say, I do apologise if anyone didn't like last week's episode. It was pretty grim, to be honest. But like I said, I saw it and I just thought more people kind of need to know that this happened, and I want to talk about it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will know about this one. It's been done a million times, and just a bit of a disclaimer. So it's a controversial story. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of whether it's true, whether it's false, and try and analyze it. This is just literally the story.
Excellent.
Okay. And then if you're interested, you can go away and do your own research. There's plenty of it. As I say, it's been done thousands and thousands of times before. There's even a film about it. So it's nothing new, but hopefully you'll enjoy it.
Fantastic. Before we go on to your story, though, I just need to remind everyone that obviously we're giving you all this wonderful free podcasting. We don't ask anything from you. It's free of charge. You can download it. You can listen to it on the go. All we ask is that you like, subscribe, the usual auto download if you can, so that as soon as our episode lands on Sunday at 8 p.m, it comes straight down to your phone or device. Follow us on Facebook, share us on your own Facebook page. Just do what you can to help us grow our show, and we'll keep giving you this wonderful, amazing, most dangerous podcast for free. So I hope you enjoy.
All right. Thank you very much. Right. So let's get started then. So I'll start with a question. Do you believe in aliens?
Well, yeah. Do I believe that they've been to Earth? I don't know, but I mean, yeah. I mean, there must be aliens out there. There are billions and billions and trillions of planets. We can't be the only one without life on it. So yeah, definitely. 100%.
Yeah, I guess so. I suppose it kind of boils down to sort of two facets, I guess. So you have on one side intelligent alien life, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's possible, maybe unlike, I don't know. But then I suppose alien life could be sort of bacteria or sort of small little cells, single cells, sort of swimming around in oceans or whatever. So for me, I suppose that is likely, given the size of the universe. It's probable that there's some sort of alien life out there. On the other side of it, little green men running about with taser guns and managing to sort of manipulate space time. I'm not so sure, right? I don't know. Maybe because purely because of the size of everything. But where are they? That's the ultimate question.
Yeah.
Where are they? So the tale tonight, Fraser, kind of addresses that slightly.
Okay.
So you might have come across this one before. Have you ever heard of a chap called Travis Walton?
The name rings a bell, but I couldn't tell you a story.
Okay, well, today's tale is about the Travis Walton Incident.
Okay.
So you're sitting comfortably, Fraser?
I am tonight, yes. I've changed my layout, yeah. I've made things different. Nicer background and all that, but the listeners can't see that. One
day, yeah. I'll get started then. The Travis Walton Incident remains one of the most intriguing and contentious cases in the realms of ufology, captivating the minds of enthusiasts, skeptics, and researchers for decades. Against the backdrop of the sprawling forests of northeastern Arizona, a seemingly routine day for a group of loggers would soon morph into a saga of cosmic proportions. At the centre of it all, Travis Walton, a young man, was thrust into the maelstrom of uncertainty and disbelief. Travis Walton was a blue-collar worker, born and raised in Snowflake, Arizona, a small town nestled within the vast wilderness of the American Southwest. In 1975, at the age of 22, Walton found himself employed as a logger, working in the dense forest of Sitgreaves National Park.
A logger, so like what we talked about in one of my jobs.
That's right, yeah. So a
like
dangerous job.
Yes.
in Sitgreaves National Park, working alongside a close-knit crew of fellow workers and friends. So yeah, not an easy job. He was only
No,
22 as well. On the evening of November 5th, 1975, Walton and his crewmates were making their way home after a long day at work. All of a sudden, the mundane drive was shattered by an extraordinary sight. Through the trees, there was a bright light that seemed to be coming from above them, and it was emitting a strange glow that cast an eerily light through the forest below. It was described by one of the loggers as like a light coming through the lampshade. Given that it was such an unusual sight, the driver, Mike Rogers, took the decision to investigate the lights. Although it was unlikely, they were worried that it could be a serious problem such as a forest fire. So Mike turned the truck around and drove towards it. As they got within a few hundred feet, they noticed the forest started to open up into a clearing. In the middle of the clearing was a very bright saucer-shaped object that was glowing and not making any noise, hovering a few feet off the ground.
Wow.
As the crew gaped in astonishment at the bizarre spectacle before them, Walton, for some unknown reason, made the decision to get out of the truck and approach the craft. Ignoring the protests of his friends, he ventured closer, his footsteps echoing softly in the stillness of the forest. As Walton got closer to the craft, he started to hear a high-pitched humming, like an electrical buzz, and then, without warning, a brilliant beam of light erupted from the underside of the craft and hit Travis, and all 6 men who remained in the truck watched in horror as Travis was elevated off the ground. In a panic, his comrades fled the scene, leaving Walton behind as they grappled with a mixture of fear, confusion, and disbelief. A few miles away, the crew were arguing what to do next, and eventually mustered the courage to return to save their friend. They returned to the clearing, only to find that Travis and the UFO had vanished without a trace, leaving behind only a lingering sense of dread and uncertainty.
A lingering sense of dread and uncertainty.
That's it, yeah. You like it.
So he was beamed up.
It seems like it, yeah. So we've got this
Yeah.
chap, Travis. He's a logger, he's 22, so he's young.
Mm-hmm.
He works with it. I think we discussed it on. Did we discuss it on the pod when we did the dangerous job? When you work in those type of environments, you get close with your workmates, don't you? And
Yeah.
particularly when there's an element of danger involved, I imagine. So these are basically young men who are all kind of friends and things like that. Finished the job, and this is the middle of nowhere as well, sort of Arizona. It's sort of in the wilderness. Make their way home, see this kind of like light. It's not like a shimmering light. It's a big light, big bright light. And then this guy's gone. Oh, what was his name? Mike Rogers has gone. Look, this could be a serious problem here. If this is a forest fire, we're all in a bit of trouble. Let's go and investigate. Gets there, and there's a flying saucer.
Yeah. And showing real loyalty to their friend when he started getting beamed up.
Fuck this. See you later.
At least they went back again, though, didn't they? They sort of
after a bit, though.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know. How would you react in that? If that was me, you'd be gone.
I don't know. You don't know until you're in that situation, do you?
That's true. It's quite an unusual situation to be in, isn't it? So you can't really go, oh, I'd do this, I'd do that.
Yeah. We've talked about this before, though. I mean, I'm not a hero. If a grenade landed next to me and my mates during the war, I would have said, "Come on, Billy, time to be a hero.
Yeah, knock him on.
Jump on that grenade."
I just don't get why Travis got out of the truck and went towards it. Like, I don't really understand. I mean, there's not really. It doesn't really, from what I've looked into, it doesn't really explain. And he even himself said, "I don't know why I did it."
Yeah.
I think he was a bit of not a hothead, but a bit of I can, like a man's man type thing, and I can tackle this, I can do this. Apparently, there was a report that like a week earlier, they were in the forest doing the logging shit, and a bear sort of appeared around
Right.
and Travis kind of like ran towards it, screaming and shouting, and chased it off.
Yeah.
So I
Did
think
it
he was. I
take
think he was
his
that.
picnic basket?
No, it wasn't Yogi. But yeah, so I think I get the impression it was kind of, this is the kind of guy that he was, kind of like sort of fearless,
Yeah.
a bit
A,
kind of.
a bit of a dick, though. Really, one of those guys that on a night out gets you in trouble.
Yeah, come on, Travis.
Yeah.
Not now, mate.
Just fucking leave it. It's not worth it.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, he comes across as quite a nice guy now. Maybe he's
Mhm.
calmed down a bit. Anyway, let's continue. So, not knowing what to do, the crew members drove straight into town to the local sheriff's office. They were concerned that Travis might be dead, but if he wasn't dead, due to the temperature and the amount that it drops overnight, if he wasn't found, then he would die of hypothermia. A frantic search ensued, drawing in an assortment of law enforcement officials, volunteers, and concerned citizens. Helicopters buzzed overhead, sniffer dogs, and while search parties combed through the dense undergrowth, they failed to locate any sign of missing Travis. Despite exhaustive efforts of those involved over the days, hope began to dwindle. Speculation ran rampant. Some suggested that Travis Walton had fallen victim to a tragic accident, while others entertained the notion of foul play at the hands of his fellow loggers. The crew, his friends, were interviewed relentlessly, giving polygraph tests, which these tests include asking them if they'd seen a flying saucer, and various police interviews, which they all passed with flying colours. So yeah, this is kind of like people are starting to think, well, did they kill him?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's pretty. They passed the polygraph test, so that's kind of weird. It's asking them if they've seen a flying saucer. I mean, I know like we don't use polygraph tests in this
Yeah.
country because they're not deemed to be kind of
It's
admissible as evidence because they're so what's the word for it?
shit.
Not, yeah, shit.
Well, they're not an exact. Right. Basically, if you really believe you saw a flying saucer, even if you didn't, then you'd pass a polygraph test.
Yeah,
Like, for instance, if there was a strange light in the corner of your room and you decide that's a ghost, and then you had a polygraph test and they said, "Did you see a ghost?" And you said, "Yes," you would believe that you saw a ghost. But that doesn't mean that that was a ghost.
absolutely. But this is 6 or 7 people,
Well, yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
And I suppose like they could all influence each other, going, yeah, that was a UFO, that was an alien craft, or whatever. And I suppose that there is like the pressures there for everyone to go, yeah, that's what it was. But I get it. I get your point. If it's one person,
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's quite hard when there's so many people. Someone must have had. If it wasn't what they say it was, someone surely would have had an element of doubt to
Yeah,
go,
yeah.
oh yeah, I don't think it was that. But anyway, then just as hope was on the verge of fading entirely, late in the evening of November 10th, 5 days after the incident, Travis re-emerged from the depths of the wilderness. He says he opened his eyes and was just laying on his back at the side of the road. Dishevelled and disorientated, he stumbled across some payphones and called his brother Dwayne. Now, Dwayne had been getting prank calls through the week in relation to the abduction, so at first he didn't actually believe it was Travis. But Travis finally convinced his brother it was actually him.
He's been getting other people calling him, going, "Oh, hello, I'm your brother."
Yeah. And
Prank calls.
so when he actually phoned him, he's like, "No, fuck up, mate. Don't be messing about." So yeah, I didn't believe him at first. But Travis finally convinced his brother it was actually him. And Dwayne then drove to the town of Heber, Arizona, and found Travis sat on the floor of the phone booth he'd made the call from.
Wow.
Dwayne took Travis to the local hospital, checking in using a fake name, and the doctors ran some tests, and reports state there was no evidence of drugs or alcohol in his system. They noted that Travis had lost about 12 pounds over the 5 days he'd been missing, and had a strange puncture mark on the inside of his forearm.
What the hell?
Travis believed it was still the same day and had no memory of the missing 5 days. What followed was a whirlwind of media scrutiny as Walton's astonishing tale of extra-terrestrial abduction captivated the imagination of the public. Yet, for every believer enraptured by his account, there were countless skeptics eager to dismiss it as a fabrication.
It's really hard to disbelieve someone that, when there's sort of that much, I wouldn't say quite evidence, but like you said, there's 6 people telling the same story. He's been missing for 5 days. If he'd have been out in the wilderness, he'd have died because of the cold.
Yeah, that's it. He probably would have died. He
So
has
yes,
no recollection of it. Wait till the best is yet to come. To be fair, because this is at this point, I suppose nobody really knows where he's been. He's just been missing for 5 days. He could have found shelter somewhere, I suppose. I imagine there's cabins around the place, and or who knows?
He'd remember that though.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing.
Yeah, he'd know where he'd been.
Yeah.
How was his bum? They always hear these
Probe.
alien stories. You always hear these alien stories about things going up their bum. I don't know why they're
anal probes.
so interested in probing anuses.
It's a bit like you.
Yeah, I've had a couple of probes off the doctors over the years.
In a bid to substantiate his claims, Walton voluntarily submitted polygraph tests, and these were carried out by seasoned experts in the field of forensic psychology. The results, however, proved inconclusive, with some examiners detecting signs of deception, while others found no cause for suspicion. Travis was also hypnotized in an attempt to establish what happened to him on the craft, and this is what he had to say. When I regained consciousness, I was in a lot of pain, and I couldn't quite bring myself totally awake. When he came to, he was lying on a metal table with a bright light shining over his face. He said, I was looking up at a light shining down on me from the ceiling. I could tell I was lying on a bed or a table. I saw 2 men leaning over me. Well, they weren't really men. They looked a bit like men, but they weren't quite human, and they were dressed in a kind of brown and orange jumpsuit. He said they had large, almond-shaped black eyes, large grey heads, and their faces showed no emotion. Right, I have to say here, actually, there's some conflicting views. I think you can probably get this recording on YouTube or somewhere. Right. Now, I just went through one that I listened to. I watched a few videos, and there was a couple of contrasting sort of stories as to what he actually said. So I do recommend, if you're interested, go and have a listen, but this is the one that I've got, so just deal with it.
This is the recording of his voice?
Yeah, so this is what he said when he was hypnotized. Although I was kind of like listening to some sort of transcript of it, some guy sort of doing some commentary, but then I'd listen to another one, it was slightly different, but that's what I've got. So he's laying on a table, there's two or three aliens over him, and he's awake now. Travis said he woke up during the process and jumped off the bed. He recalled grabbing a glass tube which he tried to break to make into a sharp weapon. Travis said the beings did not enter into conflict with him, but simply left the room. Travis was left alone for several minutes, and he began to look around to try and make sense of it all, any items that he could perhaps recognise, but he couldn't make sense of any of it. And after a few moments passed, 2 humans, or what looked like humans, entered the room. Only they were wearing spacesuits. They had bright blonde hair and blue eyes. Travis assumed these people were here to save him, so he made his way over to them, asking question after question. Like, what the fuck's going on here? but the human-like creatures didn't say anything. They took Travis by the arm and led Travis away down a small corridor passing multiple rooms and eventually coming to what seemed to be a large hangar which held many disc-like craft which looked similar to the ones he had seen in the forest. He said that he knew that he was in space because there were windows down the corridor and he could clearly see stars in the background. And all the while, Travis was asking questions but getting no response from the human-like beings. Travis was then led into another room where inside 3 more of these human-like beings were. They brought Travis into the centre of the room and forced him down onto another metallic table-type bed. Then, one of the beings put a gas mask over Travis's face and he lost consciousness. The next thing he knew, he was laying on the side of the road. Now, many skeptics seized upon Walton's testimony and alleged a hoax, saying he was doing it purely for money. Yet, for Walton and his supporters, the results of the polygraph test and the hypnotherapy sessions served only to underscore the truth of the encounter. The Travis Walton incident soon captured the attention of the media, becoming headline-grabbing news that reverberated across the country and beyond. Newspaper, television programs, and magazines dedicated countless column inches to the experience, thrusting him into the spotlight as a reluctant spokesperson for the UFO enthusiast. And in 1993, Walton's story was immortalised on the silver screen in the form of a film called Fire in the Sky. While the film took certain liberties with the narrative for the sake of dramatic effect, it succeeded in reigniting public interest in the case and introducing a new generation of viewers to the tale of Travis Walton.
I'll need to get that film, check it out.
Yeah, you should. I saw it years and years ago. I think I was really young when it was 1993 it came out, so I think I saw it in the 90s. And yeah, it is kind of like a dramatized version of it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely worth watching.
Is he still alive now?
Yeah, he's still going. Yeah,
still knocking about.
Yeah, like I said at the top of the tale, there's so much on this.
Mm-hmm.
It's if you're interested in sort of alien encounters and abduction, this is probably the starting point. Or if you want to get interested into it, you want to sort of pursue it further, then this is definitely the starting point. This is certainly like the number one on the list. More than 4 decades have passed since that fateful November night, yet the legacy of the Travis Walton incident endures as a potent symbol of humanity's enduring fascination with the unknown. For believers, it stands as a compelling testament to the reality of extra-terrestrial visitations and the existence of beings beyond the confines of our world. For skeptics, it serves as a cautionary tale of the dangers of succumbing to the flights of fantasy and embracing the unproven as gospel truth. The Travis Walton incident remains a riddle wrapped in mystery, a tantalising enigma that continues to defy easy explanation. As we navigate the uncharted waters of the cosmos and grapple with the profound questions that lie at the heart of our existence, the story of Travis Walton serves as a reminder of the boundless depths of human curiosity and the enduring allure of the unknown. Whether one chooses to believe Walton's account or dismiss it as the product of a fevered imagination, one thing remains abundantly clear. The Travis Walton incident occupies a singular place in UFO lore, a timeless testament to the enduring power of the human spirit to seek out truth in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. And Fraser, before I leave you, I'd just like to end tonight's tale with a quote by the science fiction author Arthur C. Clarke.
Go on.
He said, "2 possibilities exist. Either we are alone in the universe, or we are not, and both are equally terrifying.
God, that's true. Yeah, yeah. When
So
you put it like that,
that's the Travis Walton incident. I hope you enjoyed it. As I
I
said,
did.
there's plenty of material if you are
Mhm.
interested in this sort of thing. If you found it a bit creepy, hopefully it was a bit sort of downtoned from the horrors of your story last week. But yeah, I think it's a bit mad, isn't it? Like
Yeah, yeah,
I just, yeah, maybe he was just. I did say I wasn't going to go into the sort of ifs and buts and stuff. Like, but yeah, it could just be those guys were going. Do you know what? Because I mean, at the time, I think sort of science fiction, UFO and stuff
yeah,
was
yeah,
kind of like a big thing. So it could have just been those guys. Like, oh, why don't we just make up a big hoax? Travis, you go and stay in this barn for a bit for 5 days. Come back and say you've been abducted. You know, but then if that was the case, then they've passed all these tests and like
yeah.
hypnotherapy as well, and he's given this description. I just don't know what to make of it, to be honest.
There's always like a there's always a shit one, isn't there? Like all six of them. Like two or
Yeah,
three of them would be good liars, but there's always like the kind of shite bag one that would like not be able to pass the test. Oh, we made it off
yeah,
and
yeah. Like
stuff like that. You know.
that's it. Someone who just shit themselves or think, oh, this is going too
Yeah.
far now, and like that's just not happened. I think there has recently been. I think along the timeline
Mm-hmm.
there has been one or two who've come out and said, actually, no, this was a hoax. This, but
Of the six.
yeah, but then that's like so much later on down the
Yeah.
line. So I don't know. I don't know. That's again, that's not something we're going to
But
explore
then
here.
that
But
that could be someone just backing out of it just
mm,
because people have said to them for years, "Oh, you're making it up." Yeah, yeah, we made it up, but it could have happened.
yeah,
You
so
know.
this like Travis Walton fella,
Mm-hmm.
like he like because he's like famous in like these circles now, these paranormal circles and stuff,
Yeah.
and like he's made loads of money off it. You know, of course he has.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to like these comic cons or whatever they call them, and you know these sort of things. And he still says to this day, look, I just wish it never happened to me.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just, I'd rather not none of this. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
made a fortune off it, you know, film rights and everything like that. It's my story.
Yeah.
I just honestly really wish it just never happened. So
Yeah, I'm not gonna, like you said, we're not gonna debate whether this story is true or not. But I think that the odds on us not being alone in the universe are much better than the odds of us being alone, because just of the billions and billions and billions and billions, trillions of planets out there that how can it just have happened to one planet where there's life? Uh,
yeah,
but like, I always struggle to think of them as things with two arms, two legs, wearing a spacesuit, flying about in a saucer, because we're just thinking that they'll have evolved kind of like us. But there could have been tiny, tiny changes in Earth 100 million years ago. We could have evolved with 14 legs and seven arseholes
well,
because,
exactly. Yeah, they could be completely different. I mean,
yeah,
they could breathe like carbon.
look at
They drink mercury because that's like a life sustaining
that's it.
thing for them. You know, it's like
Look at
it
an
just can be
octopus.
completely different. Yeah,
An octopus has evolved just the same way we have on the same planet as us. So on a different planet, something would have evolved completely different again.
yeah. Be
So
like Pirates of the Caribbean with that guy with the octopus head.
oh yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm 100% certain there's life out there, but I don't think there's men or women or human-like things with two arms and two legs.
Yeah, it seems to
Um,
suggest as well. Do you know when he was in like the craft, and then
yeah.
like the little grey men went out,
Mhm.
and then like humanoid, more human type characters came in.
Yeah,
That would suggest they can kind of like shapeshift,
maybe.
you know, into like something that would make him more comfortable.
Mhm.
So if I got abducted, you know, like, you'd be like, okay, well, I know you can shapeshift. Can you make yourself like an absolute babe? And then we've got like a deal.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that would be my first question.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what would make me comfortable. Shape shifting, and probably me. I'm into animals. If they shape shifted into like a couple of,
Careful.
well, yeah, you know,
So, the route I was going down is probably different from the route you were going down
yeah,
there.
probably, yeah. I mean,
Probably.
more genuinely feeling comfortable.
Yeah.
Because if they
So it'd be
shape
like
shifted
a
into,
big dog. Have you seen the Daft Punk music video where it's like a human with a dog head?
no, no.
Is that what you're looking for?
I'm just thinking, like, I'm uncomfortable with people I don't know, so shape shifting into humans probably would make me feel as uncomfortable as aliens.
What if it shapeshifted into someone you did know, though? That'd be even more freaky.
That would be, yeah, because you'd be like, have you always been an alien? Or,
Who am I talking to now?
yeah, have I always known you as a human, but you've been an alien? Or, what's going on here?
Is that other person down on Earth and you're, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's weird. I'm sure there's a South Park episode where they meet God and he shapeshifts into different things.
There's definitely one where Cartman gets an anal probe.
He does, yeah. Yeah, there's
I think that's like the very first
the
one,
thing
like
is the first one, and then they revisit
25
it
years.
in the first one of season 7. That's called Cancelled. That's sad that I know that, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
But
I'd like to get him. It'd be good to be like in with the aliens.
yeah, well, this is the thing, right? There's Roswell. There's that famous incident that again you always think that there's no smoke without fire, but why? If they've got the technology to travel through space at the speed of light or whatever you'd need to do to get to our planet from wherever they are, why would they just send one ship with a couple of fellas on it, crash it, and never come back again?
Yeah, well, again, going
It would
back
just
to Travis
dominate.
Walton, he suggests that there was a hangar with loads of these ships in. So
Hmm.
maybe it's like a mothership, and then they
Yeah.
just send out these. But then I struggle to, you know, we were saying does life exist on other planets?
Hmm.
I for a civilization to be able to do that, to have the technology
Yeah.
to to bend space time, I suppose, and to travel faster than the speed of light.
Hmm.
They've got to have been around for like billions of years.
Oh yeah.
Now, I'm a bit of a pessimist when it comes to society
Hmm.
and civilization because we've experienced through our history that civilizations do tend to destroy themselves after a certain amount of time.
Definitely.
Right? You know, if you look at the Egyptians, I suppose, the Roman period, and eventually, all right, some of the technology exists,
Hmm.
but a lot of it is picked apart and clapped, and that's those civilizations collapse. And that's us as a species just being around for what 65,000,000 years,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
100,000 years, or something like that. So how I I think it's quite unlikely that another civilization out in the stars has lasted for a billion years
Yeah.
to enable themselves to develop the technology so that they can travel through time, through space.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think it's quite unlikely that a civilization has developed the technology to bend space and time to be able to travel here. And like I said at the very top of the episode, if they can do that, then where the fuck are they?
Yeah.
And I mean, I suppose the counter argument to that is if you were up there somewhere in space looking down on this bag of shite,
Hmm.
you'd go, I'm not going anywhere near that. It's an
Yeah.
absolute mess.
Full of
So,
wankers.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
Yeah.
it's full of them. So yeah, it's just it's an interesting. We are longing for an alien, aren't we? Some sort of
Definitely.
alien
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
invasion or
Hmm.
encounter, like a proper one where we can go. Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, that is Stonewall. You know, there's an alien. We've got him.
Yeah. Yeah. Even just to find that planet and say we found a planet. We can see movement on it. We can. There's definitely something out there. That would be incredible.
Yeah,
But
it's only 75 million light years away.
yeah.
So by the time we get there,
Mhm.
the Earth probably won't even be here. So it's like it's
It's
just
yeah, it's mad. Like I was trying to explain to kids, I was like, "See that star?" I was like, "That star could have disappeared 500 years ago." but you're still seeing it
Yeah.
because
So you try to explain that to your kids.
by the time the light gets to you, it's like
Huh?
years later. But what were you saying about them having to be around for billions of years? But what if they're on a planet with much better resources than us?
Yeah, but you still need to like have the mental capacity to use those resources. You still have
Oh,
to
true.
develop the
Yeah.
technology. It doesn't
Hmm.
sort of come out of the ground anyway. But yeah, you still
They
need
could have.
to build up. Like we started with fire,
Hmm.
and now we've got Pornhub. Whereas, like they still need to start with something to build up to.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
I know.
know.
I know. It doesn't. It doesn't scare me. I'm not scared of aliens. I'm more scared of someone was stabbed to death at our local shops 2 nights ago. That scares
Um,
me more than aliens coming down.
random.
Like, I'm more scared of.
Hang on. So, Joe, we were talking about aliens. Well, I'm
Yeah.
just going to completely go on a swerve. I got a tangent. So
Oh,
someone
what?
was stabbed at your shops.
Yeah, just we're just near the co-op. Yeah,
Well, that.
bit
Well,
of
a
a
lot of it is about, and maybe that's the reason
yeah.
aliens are looking down, going. Do you know what? We could use a lot of these resources if we could just
Hmm.
give it a bit of time. All these wankers down, they'll all kill themselves. They'll
We
all kill
will,
each
we
other.
will, we'll destroy ourselves very
Mm.
quickly. We'll probably destroy ourselves in the next 200 years. I think.
Yeah, well,
God
I
knows
won't
what will
be
be
here.
left. Yeah,
Don't need to worry about it. I won't be here. Not asked.
I know, I know.
And on that note, we do like to leave you all with a pleasant. What's the thing? Well, we like to make you feel sad.
Yeah, we tend to leave you with more questions than answers. I think
Yeah, definitely. Right. Okay. Well, that's me anyway. I'm done now.
that was really
Adios.
interesting. Yeah, it was a nice story. What I've got next week is unfortunately grim again, but it's a grim thing that we can have quite a lot of laughs at. I think
Okay. Look
it's a
forward to
little
that
bit
one.
of a it's a less sad grim. I thought let's have something we can poke a bit of fun at. So,
Right.
um,
Okay.
but
Well, look
yeah,
forward to it.
I enjoyed it. We haven't done enough UFO stuff. I think that was really good tonight, James.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
this, a dangerous walk in the woods,
dangerous walk in the woods.
or
Yeah,
drive in the woods. Yeah.
hmm
So yeah. So it's definitely relevant.
definitely. Right. Thank
Right.
you.
Yeah. Righto. Okay. I'll call it a night then. Thanks, Fraser. Okay, well, that's been the Most Dangerous Podcast. Thanks for listening, everybody, and thanks, Fraser, for your time. And I will see you next week.
Excellent. Never a chore. Thanks very much, James. We'll see you all next week.
Good night.
Bye bye.